Take a listen.
Duval.
He's been working on it himself right now in terms of like monitoring that with the doctors. He'll be on a pitch count for those things in terms of the where he has to get to, because he has little touch points he needs to reach before he can obviously get out onto the grass and do it full speed.
Okay. Here's the
Look at that road schedule.
Jags
You'll love to
opponents.
see it. Yeah,
Really?
that division
that's
schedule,
easy?
you love to see it.
That road schedule isn't tough?
Here's the deal.
7.5.
Over.
Cardinals, Broncos, Raiders, 49ers, Bengals
Okay.
on the road.
So 3 years ago, they won the division, they hit the over. 2 years ago, they would have hit this over by Thanksgiving. And before it, by week 12, they hit it, starting 8-3, and then the guy gets hurt.
Oh, is that what it was?
What?
That's why they struggled?
They started 8-3,
How
and
many
then Trevor
games
got
did he
carted
play that
off.
season?
Oh, I'm sorry, they couldn't cart him off because they didn't have a cart because they're dopes, and they still found their way.
How many games did he play that season?
The over. I think he played
15?
14, 15, yeah.
16, something like that.
Regardless, how many games did he play healthy? The answer is 11. They still hit the over. And then last year, it was a bad year, the under came in. I love Brian Thomas Jr.
Yes.
They are going to be able to add a difference
throw the
maker
ball.
at number 5. We know the draft is going to go Cam Ward, then either Cam Ward, then Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter. Then the Patriots are going to take short arms, and the Jags are going to have their choice of either a great D tackle, the number 1 tight end, the number 1 running back, number 1 wide receiver. So they'll add someone there. I like Liam Cohen in this regard. It seemed like Doug Peterson was over it. Like, for good or for bad, it seemed like he thought he was getting fired after the game in London that they lost, and then they were like, no, we're going to make you play out the string. And that is the worst division in the NFL. The Texans, massive, I think, losses this offseason. And as far as the receiving core, trading away their best left tackle, I think they can win the division. And so, yeah, I will take the over.
I'm going under.
Under.
Oof.
And I'm kind of so-so in the Jags, but that schedule, Nick.
What's wrong?
You got the AFC West and the NFC West. Not going to be easy.
The NFC
for
West is not a good division.
The Rams are good.
Yeah.
And I think the Niners will be good, now, assuming they're healthy.
Greg likes the
Seattle, is no slouch.
Okay.
And Greg loves the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tough
AFC
schedule,
West
man.
part is hard, but you get a last place schedule.
NFC West isn't easy either, though.
If we were ranking divisions, the NFC West probably comes in 6th.
I'm with you. I'm with you there. This, for me, this is not even about
Oh,
the
sorry,
schedule.
3rd place schedule. Thank you, Rob.
This is not even about the schedule and who they're playing. Like, this is about Trevor
Yeah,
Lawrence.
damn straight. Exactly. Thank you. That's why it's an over.
Which is why it's an under.
Oh, come on.
Like, what has he...
This guy's out here believing in number
He
1
was
overall pick,
Gatorade
Kyler
High
Murray.
School Player of the
Oh, I'm
Year.
sorry.
I get it. Nick is excited. Nick is excited because he's like, I mean, they've been able to get the over because he's maxed out at 9 wins. Like, I get it. That is the over. Yeah. It's still underachieving if you're Trevor Lawrence.
Oh.
In that division, I get it.
You just gave Kyler a love letter saying he maxed out at 9 wins.
I'm going to tell you why I did that since you brought that up. Trevor was going to be on my bud list, but we were talking about him right now, so I didn't need to do it twice. Oof. So for me, I'm going under until I see something of where Trevor Lawrence is deserving of the money that he got paid.
All right.
Pressure.
Jags, Chargers,
Nick
YouTube.
says money brings pressure.
I'll pull it up. I'm going to show it to you right now.
Did he give Justin Herbert some of that money?
What do you mean?
Did he send him some of that money? Because that's the only reason why he got that.
What about Justin? We don't count Justin Herbert's money. What about his money? Who's he sending the money to?
I don't know yet.
Exactly right.
All right. Let's talk about this. Yeah. I truly, from the bottom of my heart, have no idea what to do with Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I can't make up my mind on Trevor Lawrence. I do think that there's legitimate questions about his personality, how much he cares about playing. I mean, he's pretty much said football is not everything for him, and et cetera, et cetera. He's also reportedly, just wants to essentially be, famous. He likes the money, likes the lifestyle, and, football is not everything to him. And it's tough to be great in the NFL then. It's tough to be great. You could be serviceable. You can be a quarterback, right? Especially if you're good enough just in terms of your baseline talent, but it's tough to truly be great and have that mentality. There is a reason why when you know the let's just even use these current quarterbacks like the Mahomeses, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Lamar. I don't even know what names I've been saying right now, but essentially the quarterbacks that are clearly winning year after year after year. It's like that they are putting in the work non-stop. Even someone like who had a reinvention of his career, Sam Darnold, put in the work non-stop. You have no strong sense of that happening with Trevor Lawrence. And because you could make the argument, dude, Trevor Lawrence, he got drafted to a tough organization with bizarre coaching from the jump. And then you had Doug Peterson, who's not a disaster of a coach, clearly a Super Bowl winner, but obviously, he's a Super Bowl winner coming from an elite franchise who's now gone to 3 Super Bowls and won, 2 of them. And Doug Peterson was part of one of them. And again, you can give him credit for not like kind of messing it up. But at the same time, when a team moves on from you and the quarterback and then gets to another Super Bowl 5 years later, it's hard to give you a ton of credit for that necessarily. You deserve credit, and there's a statue of him outside of the link in Philly, but like who really knows at this point? And that is the tough thing when you're trying to figure out your quarterback and your coach, because you're just kind of like, my quarterback doesn't look so good right now. Is it the coach? And maybe the coach is great, but you're like, the quarterback doesn't look so good. And you're like, well, is it the quarterback? Like it's harder to figure out. When you have a bona fide coach or quarterback, at least just one of them, it makes it so much more easy to evaluate the other part now. And you're still trying to figure out who is Trevor Lawrence, and you're not so confident with the coach. I believe in who they hired as a coach. I believe him as an offensive mind. How will he be as a head coach? Massive question mark. That is the reality, a massive question mark. It is hard to run a team. It is hard to be a head coach, and it is different from being a coordinator to a head coach. So I think that will be a legitimate question mark. But in terms of like the X's and O's and the game plans and the actual real-time play calling, I do have confidence in the offense now, and so I think we should get some more clarity from the Jaguars. Listen, will they still potentially lose games and mess things up because of they're just ill prepared or bad time management and stuff like that? Yeah, that can happen with the head coach, obviously, with a new head coach. But in terms of does Trevor look right? Yes or no? I think we should get that answer this season at a minimum. But it is a tough schedule. You're not going to say, when you look at the Chiefs, tough. Chargers, tough. Rams, tough. And then if we want to be forgiving and say Seahawks, Jets, Panthers, 3 wins. I think the Broncos will be tough. Again, let's look at this actually from the most forgiving schedule possible. The easiest wins and the hardest wins, more so than I normally do. We're just going to give them the wins that we say, fine, you win this game. I think you would then have the Seahawks, the Jets, the Panthers. That's 3 right there. And then you have the Titans. Again, I mean, who's going to be their quarterback but a rookie quarterback? If you can't beat a rookie quarterback, then you can't win nothing anyway. The Colts, who's their quarterback? Again, you got to at least win one game. You got to at least split with them. That's 5 right there. Then you're looking at, your next easiest wins would be Cardinals, Raiders, 49ers, those 3 teams. So, and of course, obviously, if you go 2-0 against the Titans or 2-0 against the Colts, and you split with the Texans, there you go. You're at your 7.5, or you're at your over. So, yeah, I'm excited actually for the first time in a while to watch Jags games, because I'd like to really get to the bottom of this, of who Trevor Lawrence is. Has he been the victim of circumstance and coaching, combined with his, lack of all-in effort in terms of trying to be the best that he can be, and also injuries, and because I think everyone makes fun of Nick for that with the injuries and all that, and I don't downplay injuries, especially to an individual player. It's such made up nonsense where they're like, well, if you're on the field, then you should be great, or everyone's banged up. It's week 15. It's the NFL. Like that's just that's just such like nonsense. That's either ex-athletes trying to give the bravado of like, of course we're all banged up, or it's media people that just like have never actually played injured. And there is such a spectrum of injuries, and just because a player's on the field and tries his best to still play despite him being injured, doesn't mean that you now expect him to be perfect or great or this or that. Like, so I that is the one Trevor Lawrence take with Nick that I actually really do agree. And I haven't fully let go of the idea of Trevor Lawrence being a great player. Listen, will he ever be able to reach his status of being like generational, like he was set up to be? Maybe not, probably not, feels like not. But do I think that with the right team and the right coaching staff around him, could he be a legitimately, good, great, top 10-ish, depending on the year, depending on the team at the time, right? Does he have a hot shot wide receiver? Does he have a beast of a running back, a brick wall of an O-line? Like, could he be up there? I do. I do. Does that mean that he'll be able to win the big games? Does that mean he'll be able to be focused? Does that mean that he's ready for the moment? Completely different discussion entirely. But is the talent there? And if the team is there, will he be good enough to run that offense? Yes. I wholeheartedly believe that Trevor Lawrence is not just a complete bust and just a disaster of a quarterback. So, which then just puts a little bit more out of his control at that point, in terms of, roster construction and coaching staff. So it's going to be interesting. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Jacksonville Jaguars over under 7.5? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.